Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we are going to be finding out what happens if you kidnap the Soothsayer fortune teller, and can she predict her own death? So in case you guys have never run across the Soothsayer before, she is a fortune teller located at two spots in the swamp, in basically the bayou in WA. And she only comes out at night, and for a small donation of $2 each time, she will tell you your fortune. You can run into her as Arthur and John, and the fortune will vary each time you run across her. This is an example of what happens.
I may not speak the whole truth, but I speak some of it. Do you want to hear your fortune, sir?
Here.
This is now the time of machines, the time of things, the time of man came and went as all things pass. As all things pass, my friend.
All right.
Okay, so as you heard and saw there, the fortunes are a bit cryptic, and maybe you guys can help us figure out what they are in the comments down below. What I'm actually going to do right now is let you guys actually take a listen to all of the different fortunes. Apparently, like Blind Man Cassidy, the Soothsayer is supposed to predict future events that occur in the timeline of both Arthur and John. So let's take a listen to these right now, and maybe you guys again can solve what she's trying to say.
Even the gods die. Even the gods die an ignoble death.
Okay, thanks.
We killed him! And what did we replace him with? What? With what? With absolutely nothing! Enjoy.
Okay, thanks.
There's nothing here, friend. There's nothing here for us to destroy.
Thank you.
What are you doing here, friend? You don't know. You don't know what you're doing here. That's the problem. That's a real problem.
Okay, thanks.
You'll go away from here and realize that here is not so bad, as everyone does in the end.
Okay.
They will betray you in the end. Surely they shall. Betray them first.
Okay, thanks.
It's only in dying that we live, my friend. So you're lucky. For soon you shall be alive.
Okay, thanks.
Beware the swamps, for nothing good ever came from the ooze. They say we came from the mud. We didn't. We came from under a rock.
Thank you.
You came down from on high and met man unleashed as fury. And this is modernity in all its foulness, smoke, lies, hatred, and not much else.
Well, thanks, I guess.
And the circle goes on and on and on. And what will end it? Would we want to end it if we could?
All right, thanks.
She'll return to you, my friend. Return she shall. And that shall destroy you both, I fear.
All right, thanks.
The ones you hate most grow fat on their greed, and yet you must punish, whatever the cost. Whatever the cost.
Well, thanks, I suppose.
Now be on your way. When you do what you think you must do, you make things complete. Complete and round and back to where they once stood. Life began in churches, it ends in churches. Life began in the darkness, it ends in the ground.
Thank you.
Keep moving, for you cannot stop it now. It began long ago and will only end many years henceforth. All you can do is your bit.
All right.
Okay, so there were a lot of fortunes there that made a ton of sense. Essentially, she predicts what happens to Arthur at the end of the game, with essentially the gang betraying them and how he's close to death, and that will make him feel most alive. And then with John Marston, one in particular that stood out to me is she said, you know, the circle will continue. And that, I think, foreshadows his fate in Red Dead Redemption, where he thinks he gets away from the gang life, but then, of course, Agent Ross and the Pinkertons kidnap his family and basically tell him to hunt down the rest of his old gang. So it is really, really cool that this lady basically can predict future events. And because of that, I wanted to see if we could gather some more background on her, because she is kind of a mysterious creature. So what I did is I waited till it was a little bit lighter, and essentially I wanted to see if we could kidnap the Soothsayer. Now, what's unique is the Soothsayer is one of those characters that you can actually hogtie, which I didn't think you could. Some characters, like the Civil War veterans, you can't hogtie, but for whatever reason, this poor old lady out in the swamps, you can hogtie. And when you do that, this is what she says.
You bully the weak. That says who you are. I'm an old woman. Whoa, I didn't predict that.
This is very kind of you.
So a couple of things that were interesting here. Number one, when you hogtied her, you got negative honor points. I didn't think that would happen. So I'm not sure if that's specific to the Soothsayer or if that happens to everyone you hogtie, but I don't think it is. So I think it is actually specific to her. And number two, when you're like looting her, she says, I didn't predict that that would happen. So I was trying to think to myself, could she predict other things that might ultimately happen in the future? Now, when we hogtied her and actually lassoed her up, I wasn't able to gather any more information about her. There weren't any documents or notes or anything like that. And even if you look at the Red Dead Redemption 2 Wikipedia page, there isn't any background information on her. The only thing is the Soothsayer is a fortune teller that appears around the bayou in Blue Water Marsh, offering her unique set of skills to the player for a price. So that's it. We don't get her name. We don't get her backstory. I'm assuming it has something to do with like swamp voodoo magic. I'm not too sure. But either way, there's not a lot known about her. We don't hear about her in the newspapers. We don't hear, other NPCs talking about her or any camp conversations. So she is truly kind of a mystery. So once again, I wanted to see if she could predict her own death with some lines of dialogue or anything like that. I wanted to just try some fun experiments. So what I did is I put her on the train tracks. I figured if she can predict a train coming or something like that, that would be kind of cool. However, the first time I did this, a train literally didn't show up. Like you can see how fast I'm fast forwarding the game right now, and a train doesn't go by. She just sort of sits on the track, wiggling back and forth. I was trying to be patient, but a train would not come. So what I had to do was, I guess, manually get a train to spawn in. So what I did is I ended up fast traveling to Emerald Ranch, Emerald Station, because I knew once you got off there, a train is pretty much always going to be there. So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up putting her on the train tracks. And what we did there is we basically waited for the train to arrive. I ended up picking her up, and we stood right in front of the train. And she never said anything, and I was kind of getting cold feet at the last minute. So what I did is I tried to jump out of the way, and I'm not sure what happened. When she got knocked off, I got negative honor, but I don't know if that killed her. I mean, like, her head is getting close to getting run over by the train. But as you'll guys see in a little bit, I dropped the Soothsayer back on the tracks, and that caused a whole lot of ruckus. There was a lot of people that were upset with me. However, I aimed a gun at what I thought was her dead body on the track, but as you aim on her, you get the red reticle. And then when I fired at her, I got more negative honor points. I don't know how many honor points you lose for hurting or harming the Soothsayer, but it was a ton. Way more than I thought. But anyways, that is what happens if you kidnap the Soothsayer in Red Dead Redemption 2, and some fun experiments that we tried out with her as well. Again, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below, or you can reach out to me on my Facebook page, or there's other experiments you would like us to try in Red Dead Redemption 2. What are some other things you'd like to see me do? If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.